Welcome back to another annual update of this Moso bamboo I started from a single seed just 4 years ago. It's the beginning of May 2019 and the new shoots are just starting to emerge, and you can see behind me here that the last year's growth isn't looking so good, and that's because about 90% of the Moso canes didn't make it through the winter. Now you will be able to see this year's growth a few months from now at the end of this video, but before we do that, let's go back a few months ago and talk about a few things.
Okay, so I wanted to take a few minutes to travel back in time here. It is the beginning of March and spring is right around the corner. We'll get back to the future in a little bit. Just wanted to kind of talk about a few things though. Sorry if it's a little bit windy out here. You can see I have my barrier that goes to 18 inches down on the ground. All the videos that I've done with this Moso bamboo since the beginning and kind of this area here will be linked in the video description below just for the whole playlist of all the videos up until now. So I'm going to go inside this fenced-in area and talk about a couple things that's kind of important here, because this past winter, or this winter, it's still winter, and it's been quite cold for extended periods of time. So there's a few things I wanted to kind of talk about. Right over there, you see this right here. That's the Moso bamboo. The teepee back in there, I'll show you in a minute. That's the red margin. Next to that is the vivax, and then this little lump over here is the incense bamboo. So I said in some previous videos I probably wasn't going to cover the Moso bamboo because I just wanted to kind of let it do its thing. However, it got down to negative temperatures here, Fahrenheit, and did that for quite a while. I knew it wasn't going to survive in negative temperatures, especially not that cold for that period of time, so I decided I made a bag. Instead of making a teepee, I just basically made a giant bag and put it over top of that. And all of these canes are basically wound up real tight with some twine. And these are, it's kind of like a Christmas tree in a sense, like I've said that before. If you bundle them together, the outer leaves that surround with the canes, they kind of protect the inner leaves with a form of insulation. One thing I did not do this winter though is I did not put Christmas lights in here to keep it warm. Although that worked very well last year, I kind of wanted to see what happened if I didn't do that. Because really just covering bamboo is going to work out a lot better than just leaving it out in the open. Simply because the reason why leaves and everything dry out isn't so much because of the cold, it's also because of the wind. So what happens is the moisture in the leaves freezes and then the wind blows and it just dries it out, kind of like freeze drying in a sense. So just blocking the wind can help out a little bit. So here's the vivax over here, and you can see it pretty much looks the same. It's very pale in color. The leaves are all dried out. It's not dead. The leaves haven't dropped or anything. But that's all that is right there. It's just basically just the original cane here, and then this one here. You can barely see it in the video, but it came out last year, and it's grown over there. I have it tied down to the fence to kind of keep it away from everything. And the red margin bamboo, it also looks the same under here. You can kind of see it up in here. I have it bent over. It's actually like 8 feet tall. I kind of bent it over like that. And this one here, it was very important to protect it because it's the first winter. Usually when you plant bamboo, you want to protect it for its first winter. And there's several different methods. This is just the one I used. All this incense bamboo, this has been back here for a number of years now, and I've never protected it. And it grows just fine. Although it looks pretty terrible when springtime comes around, as you'll probably see in this video. That it grows back and all these canes aren't dead. If it's still green, it's alive. It'll grow back new leaves and there'll be new canes that come up from the ground, and it's all pretty good. So now there's one other thing I wanted to show over here, and this is all basically what you're seeing on the ground. This is all just fresh, not mulch, it's wood chips, just basic wood chips chopped up from trees and branches that were cut down. I don't use mulch, it's too expensive. Wood chips are actually a lot better. Lots of good fungus growth that you get in there. It promotes good growth for the roots. And also, the other thing about the wood chips is that they also contain leaves that are also chopped up when they're green, so it has some nitrogen. It's also a lot cheaper. I think I said that already. Anyways, over here, this little patch in the ground here, this was a rhizome that came out over here from the Moso bamboo. And you can see all this is all dried out. And you see how these leaves are green? Nice and green. These are virtually the only leaves back here that aren't pale white, like all these over here that you see. Even the ones inside the bag are kind of like a pale color, almost basically dead looking. The reason why these are looking like this is because there was snow cover on these. It is pretty amazing, even though snow, it's cold and everything, it basically insulated this and stopped them from drying out, and these are actually nice healthy leaves compared to everything else, just because they were covered in a little bit of snow, not even that deep. So I just wanted to talk about those couple things, maybe to give some helpful tips and helpful information to people who are trying to grow bamboo in climates kind of like this in Ohio.
Okay, it is now July, and here is what the bamboo looked like just 1 month ago from today, before the new shoots came up and before the new leaves grew out on the old canes. And here's what it looks like today, 1 month later. Now, as you can see, the bamboo isn't as tall as it was last year. Last year it peaked out at about 12 feet, and right now we're barely pushing about 7 to 8 feet. And the 8-footers are actually just the canes from last year that have grown some new leaves. But the reason why it regressed in height is because most of the bamboo took top growth damage or just completely died off. Mainly to name the 3 different types back here that died off, which are the least cold hardy compared to the incense bamboo, is the Moso, the red margin, and the vivax. They pretty much, virtually all the top growth actually died off. But it's been replaced this year by new canes. They're just not as tall, or have not gained height at least. So it doesn't look too bad. The whole grove has actually expanded out. It's thickened up quite a bit. It's just not very tall. And that's pretty much going to be with any bamboo. Any bamboo that takes any kind of top growth damage over the winter is going to come back either smaller or not any taller, at least. So as far as what I do when the springtime comes around, just a little tip for everyone. You really want to fertilize your bamboo about 1 month before it starts to send up its new shoots in the springtime. And for me, that's right around the middle of April. And what I do is I get Milorganite, and I get about a 30-pound bag, and I spread that 30-pound bag through this entire grove back here, which is maybe about 100 square feet. You can't use too much of that stuff, so it's not going to hurt it. And then 1 month after that, after the new shoots have started to grow, once they've reached a height of maybe 3 or 4 feet, I'll spread some regular lawn fertilizer down. It's just a high nitrogen just to help them encourage faster growth, get taller, and promote more canes to come out of the ground. And then every other year going forward from now, I'm just going to be mulching with regular wood chips, as you've seen earlier in this video, just every other year. At this point, I've put so many layers of wood chips down, there's not really any more need to put any more down every single year at this point. But when you're first starting on a grove, for the first year, you definitely would want to insulate it, or insulate the ground anyways, with about 3 to 4 inches of either mulch or wood chips. I really recommend wood chips, to be honest. But it's looking pretty good. Actually, that's a lie. It doesn't look as good as I was hoping. But going forward, what I'm saying is all these videos over the past years have been just about the Moso bamboo, and going forward, we're not going to be talking about the Moso specifically because they're all kind of intermixing in the grove, as anyone would have expected to happen. So this is, going forward, going to be more just about this bamboo grove getting larger and expanding, and just kind of talking about things here and there. So that's about it for this year's update. Probably see you next spring. Maybe we'll do a video before that, just to talk about a couple things. But as far as the growth of this grove, we're going to be going forward just once a year as usual. So thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next one.